Hi everyone, I'm Lloyd and today I'm going to be pruning this larch. It's a beautiful bonsai and I've been growing this particular tree for over 30 years now, I can't remember exactly. We've got very long shoots. I don't normally let them grow this long, but I've had COVID for a good couple of weeks, so I'm not on top of my bonsai pruning. So it's catch-up time now, so I'm going to go through and prune this one. I thought it might be nice for people to watch. I've got several other bigger trees that need pruning as well, maples and pines and things like that. So over the next week or so, I'm hoping to get those pruned, and I'll make some more videos like this. So I hope you enjoy the video. I'll show a couple of close-ups as we go along. It's going to take me a while, so if you want to just skip through the video, that's great. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. Let's get pruning. Okay, so I'm going to prune this shoot here. I was going to prune more, but I'm showing you this one in detail. Now along this shoot, it's quite flexible because it's not woody growth yet. But all the way along, right back down to here, there are buds. You might be able to see them. There's one there, there'll be one on the other side, there's one here, one here. And generally when I prune, I'm looking for those buds so that they grow out into the direction of where the bud is pointing at the moment. So if I want to bring a new shoot out this way, I'll prune back to that bud there. If I want to change direction, I'll prune to a bud pointing roughly in the direction that I want it to go into. So right now, there's a little bit of space out here, so I'm going to prune this one back to there. Nice clean cut. So I've left about a few millimetre in front of the bud, just in case there's a little bit of dieback on that shoot. This bud will now grow out, and he will go into that space there, and basically then there will be new buds on the new shoot, and I can keep doing that, pruning back to a bud that's growing in the right direction. So I don't know whether you can see the buds on there. Anyway, when you're pruning your larch, you'll be able to look out for those. So they're roughly every, by the looks of this, every sort of 10 millimetres along the shoot, and they rotate around, so you can choose the direction you want to grow into. Sometimes you might not want that shoot grown there, so this one, which is coming from a nice woody branch here, and is growing not directly upright, but he's growing more upright than I would like, so I'm going to take him right down there. So I'm looking all the time for shoots growing in the right direction. If they're growing in the wrong way, I just remove them totally. Some of the very smaller shoots, if they're still like this, I'll just pinch out finger and thumb. So one thing that I'm being quite careful of is to cut between the leaves, so just cutting the shoot stem. It doesn't really matter if you do cut a few leaves, it's inevitable, but if you cut through the leaves, so if we just cut straight through and chop off like that, you're cutting through the leaves and they'll go brown, won't look very nice. So we'll be quite careful just to cut between the actual leaves themselves. Excuse me, I've still got a bit of a sore throat left over from COVID. all the very smaller shoots, they're still like this. I just pinch out finger and thumb. There are areas where it gets a little bit cluttered, so sometimes we do a little bit more than just basic pruning, maybe cut back a little deeper just to allow for future growth. So I'm going to do that here, just take off a little bit more. You can see a little bit woody bit there. That just gives a bit more space for new shoots to come through. Sometimes I have to go through and do it every other year or so, go through and do a bit more of a thinning out. Take out some of the older shoots, some of the thicker, lumpier branches. And what will happen now when we finish this, it will start to grow some buds, some new shoots back down here will start to come out, and I'll have to make sure that I don't let them get so big this time. Look at this. So there's a branch which has sneaked away, he's been growing through in there, and I missed him last year obviously. So he's actually starting from here and he was growing through here. Well, I want him just to finish on the outside here, not grow through other foliage. So here I'm going to take him back down to just inside where the foliage is. So that's one, he's gone. Basically you want the branches to come from the trunk, come out in one general direction. They can twist and turn a little bit, but you don't want them to go back through and cross over other branches ideally. And a little oak leaf sneaked in there. at the top of the tree here, like I said earlier, it gets very dense and it's very top heavy, so sometimes I have to prune out some of the actual thicker branches, and that will leave space for new shoots, younger shoots, thinner shoots to grow throughout this year and next year. So sometimes we have to thin out some of the bigger branches. Another little spider just appeared here. Beautiful bright green body, blends in very well with the foliage. Yeah. Be careful not to disturb it. Just carefully look around. One thing I love about bonsai, I love the actual trees themselves, but I love all the different life forms that you find walking about on Earth. So you'll probably notice that there's a branch here which has died off a year or two ago. It's quite natural for trees like this, full-grown trees, they shed branches. This would have been because it's dark here, not much light here. So the tree has decided there's no point growing here when it can grow here. So, but I like that, so I will leave this as a feature. It's just a sign of a tree growing old, really. So there are a few more dead branches inside the tree. It's up to you if you want to treat something like this, but actually, to me, it just enhances it. So we will leave it. When you're working with bonsai like this, and you're working really closely with nature, you can just learn so much. I'm always amazed at different creatures that you find crawling around. And I think it's lovely. So top here we've got quite a heavy shoot. This one here. So I'm going to take him back a little bit. I'm going to take him right out this year. So prune off some of the heavier shoots on top. And I think probably next year we'll look at taking him further down in the tree and letting some younger, newer shoots take over that space, so he doesn't get too sort of bulky and top heavy. And I'll put some of that heavy strength, that real strong strength, back down to the lower branches. Yeah, so that's most of it. There's a few stragglers lower down, nearly there. Well, I think that's most of them. I mean, I could probably keep going round and round and finding other little ones hiding in there, but generally that seems to be back in shape now. So there we go. All pruned for another few weeks. Probably prune, depending on the growing season, on the weather. This will need doing 3, maybe 4 times this year. Lots of other little bits in between, little pruning here and there. So there you go. What I'll do is I'll do a few zoomy in clippies and show you some of the details. I hope you've enjoyed. See you again.